Hello and welcome to White Glove Reviews. In this video, I'll be giving y'all another audiobook report, this time on The Furies of Calderon. This book is written by Jim Butcher and read by Kate Redding. I'm guessing Redding. Yeah, I think it's Kate Redding. Anyway, the book is it's a fantasy book, and it's the first book in a series of 6 books, the Codex Alera series. And the origin of the book is kind of interesting. And I'll include a link in the description for the books themselves if you want to check them out, and also a link that references this little story about the origin of the Codex Alera series. Apparently, Jim Butcher wrote the series on a bet. And he was according to the reference, he was in a discussion about how a good writer can take a terrible idea and make it good, and a bad writer can make if you have an exceptional idea or hook, a bad writer can still make a decent book. And if you have a good writer, he can take the terrible hook and make it good. And what happened is he challenged someone. He's like, I'll show you, give me 2 terrible hooks or 2 terrible prompts, and I'll show you how you can get a good book out of this. And so the 2 terrible prompts he was given were the concept of a lost Roman legion and Pokemon. Like Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all Pokemon. And the challenge was for him to write a book about it. And it turned out he wrote 6. Now, there's some tweaks in the book. For example, the society is a fantasy society, and it's based on a Romanesque society where there's citizens and that kind of thing, and legions, etc. And also, the Pokemon themselves are kind of like nature spirits. In the book, he calls them Furies. And what it is pretty much most everyone can interact in some way with at least one Fury. And the Furies are nature spirit-esque. Some of them manifest in person. Some of them, some of them are just kind of enhancements and that kind of thing. And there are earth, fire, air, water, wood, and metal Furies. And these do various things. Like water Furies tend to help with healing. If you have an air Fury, you might be, depending upon the power level of it, you might be able to fly and do cool things like that. Metal Furies tend to relate to swordsmanship, that kind of thing. Fire Furies are destructive. You kind of get the general idea. Wood Furies deal with plants and nature and stuff. So that part's kind of self-explanatory. Now, the first book, and actually all 6 books follow a character named Tavi. And Tavi doesn't have any kind of control over any Furies at all. He doesn't have a Fury. So he's kind of that one character in the world without the power that everyone else seems to have. And it is super inconvenient for him. And the first book details him kind of at home. There's an attack by these other people, and it's sort of like the laying the groundwork for upcoming conflicts and battle, that kind of thing. It's actually a really good series. If you've, I'm trying to think. I've gone back and forth. I think I like it better than the Dresden Files. Jim Butcher wrote the Dresden Files, and the Dresden Files are kind of an urban fantasy about a wizard, and it's set in modern-ish times. And I think I like the Codex Alera series better. And I don't know if the whole Lost Roman Legion Pokemon hook puts you off or you're intrigued by it, but he does a really good job. And he doesn't beat the whole, there are a few nods to the Pokemon thing. Like there's a mountain called Gyarados, which is it's a Pokemon. But in general, that's one of the few references that relates back to the source material. The Furies are really just nature spirits. And they kind of it doesn't it doesn't have the feel of, you know, catching the Furies with your Pokeball kind of thing. It's just it's a solid fantasy series. I mean, it was, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to it, and the whole series is out, all 6 books. They're all available in audiobook, and it's really a good listen. And Kate Redding does a good job as narrator. It just, what happens is the series of 6 books, you follow Tavi as he's basically growing up. The second book is called, I'll list all these in the description. The second book is called Academy's Fury. And in that one, he goes to like the academy in the big city. And as it goes on, he joins the military, and other things happen that I don't really want to give away. But he basically it progresses and follows him through his life. And so, I mean, it's the characters have some serious development. There are a lot of really interesting characters in the book. I like the way the Furies are done. I mean, it's generally just a very interesting world, and it's a solidly written series. So, if you're looking for a fantasy series to give a try, and you're kind of intrigued by what happens when you mix a Lost Roman Legion with Pokemon and sort of hide it, it's a good series. Anyway, if you have any suggestions for audiobooks you think I might like, or if you have any questions, you can let me know in the comments, and I'll do my best to answer them, or I'll do my best to check out the audiobooks if you have any books you think I should check out. And if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I hope y'all have an excellent day.